What's up, Emo Geeks? Welcome back to another episode of Feedback Friday. This week, we're diving into the Going.com rebrand with Lori Dennis. We'll be reviewing their email strategies and how they communicated this massive change to their email subscribers. From dynamic content and personalization to driving app downloads and consistent branding, Going has really nailed it. And as a bonus guest this week, we've got Justine Jordan with her expert insights helping us break everything down. Stick around as we explore how they combine stellar design with effective content strategies to keep their audience engaged, informed, and excited. Let's jump right in. Lori, do you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Lori Dennis. I've worked at Going for almost 3 years now, and I'm the Director of Customer Marketing. I'll first actually give a little background on Going. Going is a tech startup in the travel space. We are a subscription service with more than 2 million members. And our aim is to help our members never overpay for flights again. Going sends flight alerts for your home airport. So you sign up, you tell us where you like to fly from and where you hope to go if you already have a destination in mind. And then we alert you when we find great flight deals. I manage a super talented team responsible for lifecycle marketing, product marketing, promotional campaigns, email development, and web development. And we are huge fans of really good emails because for a long time, in fact, most of the time that we've been in business, our primary product has been email. Those flight deal alerts I was talking about that we send to members' inboxes, that was our product for almost 8 years. So it's changed a little bit recently. We launched our first mobile app earlier this year in March of 2024. And so now we're also in the business of push notifications and several other marketing channels. But email is still a very strong core piece of our daily operations at Going. So very excited to be here talking about our emails.
I'm here nerding out because we get to talk to Lori. I have been a big fan of Going's emails since they were Scott's Cheap's flights. They've enabled me to travel to some really cool destinations, and I've always admired so many of the emails that we're about to talk to you about today. Primarily, one of the things I've admired is the tie between how well they bring their email strategy to light with really awesome, brilliant design. And so digging into the details of that with Lori are why I'm very excited about this conversation.
Yeah, and thanks, Justine. You actually discovered these emails. You submitted them to Really Good Emails, so I appreciate you doing some research. But yeah, for a long time, these have been an inspiration and definitely some heavy hitters on these emails. So to jump into this first email, caught our eye just because Scott's Cheap Flights was a well-known name, but it transitioned to Going, and we don't really see a lot of rebrands in email, so I think we wanted to focus on this one and just kind of learn if there was some lessons learned about how you can use email to communicate a rebrand effectively.
Yeah, sure. This is a great one to start with. The goals for this email were to inform all of our members that we had changed our name and explain why we were doing this, and also to reassure them that our services and their experience would not be changing at all. So we had to do all those things within an email, all while also hyping up the new brand. So it was a tall order, kind of a challenging one to pull off, but I think we did a pretty great job of balancing all those things. We knew this rebrand would be really exciting, both internally and for our members, but we also knew that it would be a pretty hard sell for a lot of folks who had been with us for a long time. At the time we sent this email, which was in early 2023, we had been Scott's Cheap Flights for nearly 8 years. So we have a lot of members also who have been with us for almost that entire time. So travelers who have been getting Scott's flight deals for 4 years, 5 years and more. And we deeply understood that Scott's Cheap Flights had a certain small insider secret feel to it, whereas Going feels much bigger. So we were trying to be very mindful of that. And one of the goals was really to bring members along with us on the journey and make them feel like a part of it. We also knew that we had to go out with a message that felt really exciting and engaging, but was also informative and also reassuring. So all those goals I mentioned at the beginning, we really wanted to make sure our members understood that our mission did not change, that Scott is still here. And that's the section you have up now. You can see all the different call outs. We're getting better. A mobile app is coming. We were already teasing the app almost a year before it launched. Yeah, I think it was super successful. I think we accomplished everything we set out to do. Of course, there were, people that were upset about the rebrand. Nothing we can do about that.
One of the things I remember having been a recipient of this email is how you announced the rebrand, and then you not only tied the email design, but you also tied it into the inbox experience. So if I recall, the emails came from Scott's Cheap Flights, then it was Scott's Cheap Flights going, and then like going formally. If I recall, you even had certain milestones that you were looking for that informed that strategy of how you led people down that transition.
The progression of the rollout of the brand relaunch was actually really long. It started months before we even came out with this announcement. We didn't want the announcement to be a complete surprise for members, so that was really part of the aim of like bringing them along on the journey with us. We did run a short teaser campaign ahead of the launch. We also, conducted member surveys along the way to make sure we were on the right track. This was part of a much larger strategic rollout that did include changing our name in the from email address over time. Exactly as you said, we, we're Scotch Cheap Flights for a long time. We knew that if we suddenly started sending emails from Going, we were going to run into deliverability issues first and foremost, but also really confuse people that like maybe missed the announcement email or maybe didn't subscribe to this type of email from us and didn't receive it at all. So we had to be really mindful and thoughtful about the rollout. We had like violator banners on almost all of our emails for a few months, letting people know like Going, formerly Scotch Cheap Flights. In addition to that teaser campaign, we had a couple versions of this email. We had a dedicated landing page for information. We ran a social campaign. There were PR efforts behind the rebrand. We had some dedicated newsletters. Scott got on Reddit and did an AMA and Ask Me Anything, which was pretty popular. There was a lot happening behind the scenes really in support of this campaign. It wasn't just this one email.
Truly a multi-channel effort, and the email was just one small piece. It's really cool.
Speaking of, this email, it's honestly like a masterclass of design and strategy all kind of working together. Like you said, kind of email being an extension of product or your only product, at the time. Like, I think to me, it shows some respect to the audience and really shows that like you are thinking critically about both the development, design, and strategy behind these, because there's lots of little subtle pieces in here, like lots of best practices, these use of the icons. We love Scott as always, but all these things kind of coming together, little points, like I think they show a lot of attention to this channel specifically. It's really cool to see.
If people wanted to know more about the rebrand than we presented in this one email, we did have like a couple of places where we linked to with a lot more of a deeper dive into why we did it and what we did. The rebrand itself, the new color palette, the new fonts, the new logo, really, truly a deep dive into the design. So if people wanted more information, it was available for them. And the video at the top too was a really good showcase of why we rebranded. I highly encourage folks to watch that. It's still live actually at going.com/rebrand. I think the team did a great job pulling it together, making it fun and building some excitement.
Yeah, I love the balance. I feel like there's almost some constraint too, because, you could include a lot more content in this, but I really do appreciate bringing in the essentials, trying to trim that down, and then if people want more information, of course, they can visit these links in the video. But really, really good email.
That's a great point. It's hard to dial in that messaging and have that constraint to be like, this is what the audience cares the most about, versus so many brands hype up their rebrand when everyone is really just wondering, well, what's going to change for me? And you do a really good job of addressing that.
Yeah, I think it just shows a really understanding of your audience. All right, well, we got another email kind of moving through these. This is a premium travel credit card Feud. You want to explain a little bit about this one?
The things that have ever stood out to me when I first saw this in my inbox was just how dense the email was with information, but just how beautifully the design presents a very dense wall of text. But then also this came out around that kind of infamous now conflict that was going on. And Lori, if I recall, like there's a really interesting reason why y'all named these cards after these individuals and how that integrated into the strategy behind this email and also how your team designs it.
Yes, absolutely. This is one of our newsletters. We do send out newsletters to our members weekly. As you mentioned, due to our affiliate rules with credit cards, we can't use the branded names of the cards themselves in emails. So as a workaround, we played off of that ongoing feud in pop culture by calling the cards the names of Kendrick and Drake and pitting them against each other. It was very relevant at the time. We had also ran a similar format a few months before this, calling the cards Beyonce and Taylor. And that was one of the highest revenue newsletters that we've ever sent out. So very dense. Most of our newsletters are very dense with very helpful, useful information, but it's always a challenge to figure out how to present that in a way that is clear, easy to read, broken up with those fun branded illustrations along the way, and just calling out like the different sections of information using, a hierarchy of design here and different CTAs for different things. So those point to like articles on our website where you actually can read the names of the cards. We just can't do it in the emails. So yeah, this is a fun one.
Yeah, for me, I love the design. I think it's a really nice way of like a styled letter format. Some brands might try to only go like plain text or keep it very simple, but I think, incorporating the branding, spacing things out, making it easy to read, including some CTAs, these breakout sections, really like, Justine, as you said, it's easy to consume this content and kind of follow along on this journey and learn about the different products. And then I didn't know we wanted to call out this top section because it's something that we don't really see a lot, this link to the Going app, and then also these social share newsletter links up here.
So this newsletter was sent out shortly after the app launched. And so the download the app button was our way of getting more people into the app ecosystem. A lot of our members don't yet have the app downloaded, so we are always prompting that action. If they do already have the app, however, we can see that and we personalize it by removing that link. So if you already have the app, you're not going to see that in your emails. The sharing functionality also is relatively new, but working super well. So the sharing link takes you to a version of this article on the website where you could copy the link and send it out. But you can also share it on Facebook, on X, and just helps tremendously with distribution of these messages.
Nice, cool. All right, well, we can jump over to the next one here, this In the Know send.
Another really text-heavy one.
It is. And when I was kind of, again, choosing my favorite emails from Going, there were so many that were potentially my favorites. But this one was really interesting to me because as a marketer, I've struggled in the past with balancing sponsored with editorial and our own content strategy goals. And this is, again, where I was just so curious to hear from Lori. How do you handle this? And not only is it dense information designed really well, but the content strategy combined with sponsored and editorial.
I think this one, actually, when I, on reflection, went back to the team and asked them for things they might improve if we sent this one again, they did reflect on the fact that it's maybe too text heavy and we might want to actually break this one up a little bit more, kind of in the way the last one was. So it does contain a lot of helpful information and great resources to empower travelers to like have their travel go as smoothly as expected, even if your travel plans are disrupted. But we probably could format this one a little better to, highlight the resources and make it a little more digestible. We did okay with the bolding and the bullets and things, but I think we could have done more with this one. The sponsorship is interesting. So the element co-branding on this one feels very editorial. If you go back up to the first ad, yeah, we have a few different ad placements in our newsletters. So this would be our primary ad. And if you read the first line there, it says, "Do flight changes and cancellations stress you out when you're traveling?" That is exactly what this newsletter is about. And so we work closely with our ad sponsors to customize their copy to make sure it does feel somewhat editorial. Not every single advertiser is game to do that, but Element has been working with us for a while, and we worked closely with them to tie their copy in with the topic of the week. So it doesn't necessarily feel like a blatant ad, even though that is what it is.
That's what I loved about it. Like, I felt like it was woven together in such a way that it felt more natural and not just pushy. So great job.
The other thing I was going to say about this newsletter is the timing of it. We send a version of this email almost every year. We update it, but we sent it this year particularly around a travel time when we were expecting that flights would be canceled or changed or delayed. So think, prime summer peak travel season or around the winter holidays when we tend to see spikes in travel delays, cancellations, that sort of thing. It's especially relevant for members around those times, and we tend to see higher engagement when we, really thoughtfully time out our topics.
Yeah, I definitely love the sponsorship. You see a lot of brands just kind of throw it in like as a banner or something, but I think, kind of including it as part of the email kind of feels a little bit more editorial, as you said, and kind of it still sort of stays true to the brand without feeling too intrusive. So definitely a fan. Be Free is the best way to go from inspiration to creation. Be Free has HTML templates for all industries, occasions, and seasons. With eye-catching, customizable designs compatible across devices, Be Free's templates will help you create impressive emails easily so you can focus on what matters most. It's really one of the fastest and easiest ways to elevate your email game. Start your free trial today at befree.io. That's befree.io, or click the link in the description below. All right, to the next email. We got a very pretty Valencia email here. I like using the photography here, some GIFs. So do you want to talk about this one a little bit?
This Valencia email is one of our destination themed newsletters sent to members each Wednesday, where we take a really deep dive into one specific place or experience. We hypothesized with this one that it would perform really well in the height of summer, again, that timing thing, which did influence when we decided to run it. Playing into that, people are dreaming of a European summer vacation. We did see really great engagement with this one. If you scroll to the top, you see in the green band, it says, add VLC to your watch list. This is a recent addition to the newsletters, and that watch list feature is for paid members only. So our members on our free tier don't actually see that same message. They instead see an upsell prompt to upgrade to start their watch list. But that button, you must have been a paying member when you received this email to see that add to watch list. If you click on that and you're logged into our website, it automatically will add Valencia to the list of destinations you've told us you want to go, and we'll start watching for flight alerts for you. So that's a pretty cool product email integration that I think is working quite well. It also tells you on the right, you're watching however many destinations you're watching.
Yeah, that's what stood out to me when I first saw this. And again, it made me really wonder about the strategy behind it, because I was a paying member at the time. As you said, email is the primary product, the primary way that I engage with the brand. I don't log into the website all that often. And so I actually didn't know about the watch list feature at all until I saw that banner in the email. And I'm assuming that was one of the reasons why you put it in there, was to get people to start actually using it and to, draw more adoption and awareness around it.
Yep. There's another prompt for it at the bottom too.
Okay, because it definitely worked on me.
All the way down. Yeah. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
So, yep, right under the...
I love this part of the email too. Yes, this is such a cool area.
This layout is awesome to see in an email, and I think it does a really good job of breaking out some information to make it a little bit more easier to read. And then, as you said, add to watch list, view all deals, it all feels really complete.
We have a great design system in place at Going, and we do need to cram a lot of information into these emails at a glance and make them really easy to scan and just know exactly what you're getting when you go to Valencia. This table is a really clean way to accomplish that. And these icons, I love our iconography system. It's great. The section below that, the price history section, oh man, it looks simple. It really does, but it's not at all.
Yeah, this being live text was so impressive to me.
Yeah, that's all done with code. So it's a series of tables nested within tables. That speech bubble triangle at the bottom of the little green and peach colored pills, yeah. That was really, it looks so simple, super tricky to code. We had to use conditional code to create that triangle shape and then hide it for email platforms that don't support it. It's a lot more than meets the eye on that one. Also, the rounded corner CSS, the design team, they designed it a certain way. They asked our email developer if it could be done, and she figured it out using existing examples, litmus scope, and also by making a lot of small tweaks to really get it to function just right.
Let's give a round of applause to the designer developer duo that figured that out, because that's pretty impressive. Yeah.
Scary. Yes. And again, that add to watch list button, if you are not a paying member, if you're on our free tier, you would see a prompt to start your watch list by upgrading.
Even here on mobile, you can tell that someone took the time to test and stack these CTAs. I think we need to call out that as well, of how good this email looks on desktop is also really reflected on mobile. And I kind of assume that maybe your audience is maybe a more mobile first audience potentially.
It's definitely skewing that direction. For a long time, that was not the case, but we're seeing almost a 50-50 split at this point. And we are, aiming to be a mobile first company. So we're definitely going to see things continue in that direction.
The different considerations that you made on each different, screen size is definitely awesome to see. This next email here, a referral email, I always like to see these. Not a ton of brands do these, but this one stood out to me just because I think it was done really well, and there's a lot of smart pieces in here, not just like a link to share or something like that. It kind of explains the whole program.
This email was the inaugural announcement of our new referral program. It was our first change to our referral program since 2021, so people were pretty used to the old one, and we completely shifted the program structure. You used to be able to refer friends and earn free time with Going, and now it's earning money. This email served a few purposes. We wanted to announce the new program and hype it up and get people excited about it, but also aiming to educate members on all the various ways that they can refer people to Going. So we kept it pretty short. We wanted to make sure people read it. All the copy is really, really short, to the point, bulleted, to really get out the message that our referral program is unique and you can refer people not just with a link, but also by sharing deals.
It's also just so concrete. Like you said, going from earning something that feels a bit more abstract to just earning cash and making it fairly effortless, I think is such a great idea. And I just also love the connection of those dots and the way that it visually connects. And I just admire the copywriting that goes into this so much, because like you said, it can be a fairly complex thing, and to keep it succinct and still communicate the point is really an art.
Yeah. In fact, this email I thought was maybe a little too succinct. And so we actually developed a second email around the referral program. And that one is a little bit of a deeper dive with a video that shares real world examples on how to refer people. So I think it was a really good 1-2 punch to get the point across and make sure people were understanding how to actually go about referring. And it's working well. Our program's only been live for less than 2 months, the new referral program, and it's going really well.
Yeah, one other theme I wanted to call out through all these emails is I feel like Going's tone of voice feels very human to me. Share with your friends, this doesn't feel like work or spam. I think bringing in some of that less than corporate jargony speak is definitely beneficial to a brand like this. It really feels like it's coming from people, and Going is a friend that can help you travel better. So I think that is done really well with all these different sins.
I'm so glad that's coming across, because it's really part of our tone of voice that we are that friend. It's here to give you good travel tips and help you see the world. Our copywriter does a great job with that.
Well, we got a couple more to walk through, and this one's all about Japan economy class. A lot of data points in this one, a lot. So I'm excited to see some of your thoughts on this.
The reason why I submitted this one was that I was dying to hear from, Lori or someone who had a hand in this email about how they make this happen. So I assume database, sophisticated ESP, lots of testing, or it was I don't know. Look at that giant list of cities, all of the things that you can do. It's such a helpful email, so dense with data, but also I can only imagine what it took to set it up.
Oh, you picked a tricky one to talk about. Okay. We send out a bunch of different types of deals. We send out deals you can book for cash. We send out deals you can book with points and miles. And this is the example of points and miles. We also have mistake fair deal templates. We have limited and premium deal templates, all kinds. But for the purposes of this example, this is our points and miles deal template, and it is extremely complex. But we don't want it to seem extremely complex to the end user. The whole point of these emails is to help people with something that's really complicated, which is using your points and miles to actually book travel. This email is all about using your points more accessible and really giving someone absolutely everything they need within the body of the email itself to be able to take that trip for free. Points that you've earned grocery shopping, filling your tank with gas. Literally you can take those and use them to go to Japan with this email. Yes, for the purposes of this interview, I did talk to our designer and our developer who worked on it. This was designed by Rachel Smith. She's our director of product design. Most of our emails are designed by our marketing creative team. However, this actually is part of our product. So the product design team worked on this one. A little bit of a nuance at Going. And then it was coded by Jessa Moon, who's our senior marketing developer. some design notes for you. We really had to give a lot of thought to the hierarchy of this email because it is so much information to present someone with. And so we started with a snapshot right at the top. And instead of forcing a member to scroll past like a wall of information to figure out if this deal would even work for them, we put it all in the snapshot. We give them all the key information right up front. Here's the dates, here's the airlines, here's eligible, like transfers for points, and here are the routes. And if it doesn't work for you, move right along. If it does work for you, keep scrolling and we'll give you absolutely all the information you need. We couldn't make the email interactive, so scrolling's inevitable. And so we had to really use a hierarchy and sections and a grid like table system to really like lay everything out in a way that is easy to figure out and understand. We kept departure and return dates in columns for scannability. It's so many dates. It's just like tiny little text. And if you don't know what you're looking at, it's going to be really hard to read. So we had to like make it make sense for even people who are maybe new to points and miles.
As a frequent booker of flights and kind of points travel nerd, I was just like, wow, like this is the most helpful way that you could help me digest what is a very complex topic. And so I just really want to applaud your designer and your developer for taking all the time to thoughtfully present all of that, along with even the instructions of like how to get it done at the bottom.
We had to give all this information on exactly how they can book the deal on their own. This doesn't live on our website, at least not right now. So, if someone wanted to click through, the only place to link them to with the CTA is to go book it with the airline. So we have to explain like how transfers work, how the point breakdowns work, and any extra information they might need to figure out how to navigate that process. The other thing I learned by talking to Jessa, who coded this email, is that the template itself is really simple. There's one of everything in the template. These are API triggered by our travel ops team. That's the team at Going that finds the flight deals, including points and miles deals. They input all the information. That API triggers this template. It leans very heavily on dynamic content and logic statements wrapped around each element. She actually described it in a fun way. She said it's kind of like Mad Libs for email. So the data pulls in from the API and fills in the blanks. Each block that way only needs to be coded once, and then it's duplicated using Liquid for all the different data points that get plugged in.
See, this is the magic behind the scenes that we all love to hear about. Thank you for demystifying. Yeah, like as someone just banging out table after table, but Liquid, an API, that all makes a ton of sense. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, this is a great use case of live text. Like someone might say, this might take a lot of time if I have to export all these images, but like if you said, if you can use data and have it flow into a template and have using a design system and live text, you can bring in a lot of these data points and make it feel really one-to-one and unique without having to recreate or recode the entire email every time. So,
and you make it scalable, you operationalize it, and that's even cooler from like again, if you get nerdy on like the business end of things.
We had to. I think we support something like close to 200 airports in the US. And so there's no way we could code each of these manually. It would not make any sense.
For an impossible task, I feel like you really nailed it with everything. And I really like this snapshot. I feel like more emails or newsletters should have like a too long didn't read or snapshot section just summarizing information. All right, well now we have some more product related emails here. It was really interesting to see like the ones we've looked at so far are sort of promotional, and now these are a little bit more product focused, a little bit more transactional, bringing you sort of onboarding onto the premium or even freemium part of your site.
I love that you use the word onboarding. That's exactly what this is. We do have onboarding when you first sign up for an account on the website or the app, but this is the first email you receive when you sign up. So we've been internally calling this our unboxing email. It's email number 1 from our welcome series. And while we don't have like a physical product to actually unbox, our membership does include a ton of cool features. And so we wanted to make sure that someone signing up for the first time knows right away all the features that they have access to and how to get the most from their subscription. Yeah, we'll start at the top with that progress bar. It's really complex. It looks simple. It is not. We have multiple versions of the progress bar based on whether the person has signed up via the website or the app. That was something that took an extraordinarily long time to figure out, but we did it. We figured it out. It had to account for a varying number of emails. Somebody might get 4 emails. Somebody might get 5 emails. You see email 2 listed there, says mobile app. if they signed up through the app, or if we know they already have the app, they're not getting email 2. They're skipping from email 1 to 3. So we've coded that so it works for everyone.
I've seen it, a few brands do something like this, but never this well done, to be honest. Even like on mobile, like this is like a chef's kiss, because like all these different like little details really add up to me that make it feel like such a comprehensive idea around something. But I really like calling out these sections and setting that expectation of like, okay, how many onboarding emails am I going to get? Is it going to be 30s? But, having it, set to 5, it kind of feels like, okay, I can know what to expect, like it says, and not feel like I'm being overwhelmed, onboarding onto
Yeah.
something.
And actually, that 5th one there, points and miles, it does kind of open up a little bit of a door, because that is an additional like choose your own adventure series that you can, once you get that 5th email, you can opt in for an additional points and miles drip campaign, which is a 3-part series. And it's basically like an in-depth crash course on how to use airline miles and credit card points for travel. So it actually is the kind of, if you wanted to go that route, it could be an 8-part welcome series, but that felt really overwhelming. So we kept it at 5, and then we gave people the option, if they wanted to learn more about points and miles, to opt in for that.
There are 2 things I love about this. One is that we always talk about personalization in the email world. Too often that's like, percent first name here. But this is what I see as true personalization, where it's almost invisible to the user, because you've coded this and structured your data and your email program in a way where it's tailored to me. It's personalized to my experience about whether or not A, I have the mobile app, or B, if I'm really interested in opting into that other series. So I love that the user's in control, and you've like honored their preferences and the data that you have about them in a way that tailors the experience.
Everything about this email is highly personalized, right from the headline going premium. Like, we know that you're premium and you're not elite. We have different versions based on what tier you've signed up for. The bright green box right below that, when you go through onboarding and sign up for our product, we ask you what airports you like to fly from. And this personalization, lends confidence to the fact that we've captured your inputs during onboarding. We're watching for flights from those preferred airports. And if you only have 2 listed, like this person here, there's a prompt to add more airports. So we could keep looking for it. Maybe you've entered, a couple of smaller airports that don't get a lot of international flights. We'll prompt you to like add maybe some bigger airports, that kind of thing. Your watch list destinations, that section too, like it's pulling in places that you've told us during onboarding you want to fly to. We're just like reassuring, also giving you an opportunity to go back into your watch list right from this email and either add, remove destinations that you've selected.
Yeah, my mind is being blown every different section. Again, throughout all these emails, shout out to the motion graphics here. I mean, everything just feels it's so clean, so pretty, it's nice. But like, as you said, Justine, to me, like email personalization is honestly like every email is almost one-to-one in some way. Like it's a combination of segmentation and dynamic data and choosing which data points to bring in. Like this is really smart, just about bringing in what's important to the user, as we said in the before, knowing your audience and understanding what data points you have, how to segment, how to design, and bring it all together in something that feels, really personalized, concise, and useful.
Yeah, I love how this one translates to mobile too. It's just so clean. It's such a great experience. Like you don't lose anything by looking at it on mobile at all. There's also that box there with the phone. So that is only going to show for members who haven't downloaded the app yet. It's a little prompt to go get the app in case you didn't know we had one. And if you do that from this email, you won't get email 2. And then your progress bar changes. Cool, huh?
Very cool.
I love that.
Wow.
We also have expert travel tips throughout this whole welcome series. Again, this is email 1 of several, and each one features a different travel tip to build trust, position going as travel experts, add a little more information to make people more savvy travelers now that they've joined our membership.
I definitely advocate for on any onboarding to maybe show some faces, have like a little FAQ section, make it feel like the purchase that you just made or that you just signed up was justified, that someone can help you out, or there's a lot of information available to help you through something. So when we talk about constraint, like I think this feels really concise, and as you say, you're breaking it up rather than putting it all into one, but all those little elements I think just builds that trust with the consumer and makes this experience feel really great.
Yeah, and back to the goals of this email, like the strategic goals were to, again, generate excitement around a new membership and also educate on our features. And I think we do a fantastic job of doing both. Don't get me wrong, there's a ton of information packed into this email, but it doesn't feel overwhelming. And I think that was a pretty challenging thing to pull off. I think we did a great job with it.
Can I just give that yeah, we can say that on the show, right, Matt?
We can say anything. As long as it's not in the first minute, we can say any swears. We're allowed.
All right. Yeah. 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 Great job. Again, team going. You should be so proud.
I was going to say this is Feedback Friday, but honestly, we have not given a lot of feedback.
I feel like we're unboxing all of the amazing secrets behind Going's email program.
All right, well, we can wrap up with this last little email here, a transactional email, just letting people know that their account is going to be renewed. I feel like some people don't want to send an email to say, hey, we're going to charge you money type thing. But to me, as you said, building trust with an audience, I think it's good not to surprise someone with a fee and you have to deal with chargebacks or something. So I really appreciated this one as well.
We aim to always be on the traveler side at Going. And a big part of that is maintaining trust. Nobody likes to be hit with surprise membership renewal charges. It's never fun. So we make a point to let members know in advance when exactly their plan will renew and what the charge will be. Some might argue that this reminds people they're about to be charged and they cancel. Yes, that's always going to be the case with a membership subscription-based business. But I think on the other side, it's also proven to mitigate churn and help reduce credit card disputes, which is something we track at Going. A lot of people might not realize how harmful a credit card dispute can be for a small business. And if they get hit with a charge they're not expecting, they might not know that they can cancel. They might just go right to the credit card company and dispute that charge. And that comes with all kinds of penalties and fees. We work really hard to reduce the number of instances where someone gets surprised with a charge and wants to dispute it. Those are all, purposes behind the email. We've tested a few things with it, mainly around when to send it out. And ultimately, we've landed on sending it 30 days before the charge hits. But we also have started testing sending a reminder. If we know that someone hasn't opened it, then they get a reminder 2 weeks later, about 14 days before the charge. So that's been going really well. And we have seen credit card disputes go down.
I love the tie between, again, like the email channel and what can be a critical, like a revenue or risk part of the company, and seeing that cross-functional collaboration. It makes me happy too.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today. There's a ton of Going emails. We only looked at a small portion of them. So if you are interested, definitely sign up for Going, get all those amazing emails. Thanks again, Lori. Any other things you want to plug? Any takeaways you want to leave us with?
Like you just said, if you're interested in receiving some of these emails in your own inbox, I do encourage you to sign up at going.com. Our limited tier is always free and includes domestic flight deals within the lower 48 states. So you'll also get those great travel newsletters. We looked at a few of those today. So that's a great place to start if you're just want to check it out, get your feet wet. But if you are looking to travel internationally, our premium membership more than pays for itself with just one flight booking. So well worth it, in my opinion.
I know I definitely have made good use out of some of these deals. So, and I don't know, just thank you so much for giving us a peek behind the curtain. And I love businesses. Grammarly always stood out to me as a company that email was the product. Like I didn't have to log into the website hardly ever because I got so much value from the emails. And to celebrate the power of the channel by creating a whole business around the product being an email is just so cool to me. So thank you for, again, giving us a peek behind all of the various aspects of the Going product.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I love geeking out over emails with you too. And let's do it again. We have like a bazillion emails to showcase. So I'd love to do this again with you sometime.
Oh yeah, and let's get your designer and developer on here too, and we can really like dig into the details.
I'd love that.
Sounds good. All right, well, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.